Dosvama 10. Signs your body is sick and calling for help. Have you ever had that feeling that something wasn't quite right with your body, but everyone told you it was just fatigue or stress? If you've ever ignored small signs thinking they would go away on their own, stop everything you're doing because this video could literally save your life. What I'm going to show you now are 10 signs that your body is sick and calling for help. And if you recognize at least 4 of them, you need to seek medical help today. You know that story of, oh, that's just part of getting older, or everyone feels that. Not true. Your body is a perfect machine that always warns you when something is wrong. The problem is that we've learned to ignore these warnings, and that can cost us dearly. Sign number 1. Extreme fatigue that doesn't improve with rest. Have you ever woken up more tired than when you went to sleep? You know that feeling where even after a full night's sleep, you feel like you've run a marathon. If you're one of those people who's always saying, wow, I'm always tired, pay attention because this is not normal. The fatigue I'm talking about isn't that Monday laziness or the tiredness after a tough day at work. I'm talking about that deep fatigue, where it feels like your bones weigh a ton, where you can't do simple activities like climbing a flight of stairs without getting out of breath. Why does this happen? When your body is fighting an illness, it uses all available energy for that internal battle. It's like having a heavy program running on your phone. The battery drains much faster, right? It's the same with your body. This type of fatigue can indicate anything from anemia, thyroid problems, diabetes, to more serious illnesses like heart problems or even some types of cancer. Your body is literally screaming that it needs help. Have you ever caught yourself thinking, why don't I have energy for anything? If this has happened to you, leave a comment saying how long you've been feeling this way and how you're dealing with this situation. Sign number 2. Skin changes you are ignoring. Now pay close attention to this sign because most people simply ignore it. Have you noticed strange changes in your skin but thought, oh, it must be the weather, or it's just an allergy? I'm talking about spots that appeared out of nowhere, moles that changed color or size, sores that don't heal, unexplained itching, very pale or yellowish skin. The skin is the largest organ in our body, and it's also the first to show when something is wrong inside. That little spot you thought was just a new freckle, it could be a sign of skin cancer. That itch you think is just nerves. It could be a liver problem. The yellowish skin you think is just fatigue. It could indicate serious problems with your gallbladder or liver. Why does it happen? The skin reflects our internal health like a mirror. When we have problems with our liver, kidneys, immune system, or even nutritional deficiencies, the skin is one of the first to show the signs. You know that phrase, wow, you look a strange color today. If you've heard that or said it to someone, be careful. That's already a strong indication that something might not be right. Sign number 3. Headache that changed its pattern. Everyone gets a headache sometimes, but have you ever stopped to pay attention to whether your headache has changed? I'm talking about when that occasional little pain becomes a constant in your life, or when the intensity becomes much greater than it used to be. If you're one of those people who never had headaches and suddenly started getting them frequently, or if you've always had them but now they're different, stronger, more frequent in different places in your head, your body is sending you a message. The headache your body uses to call for help is not the one that goes away with a common medicine. It's the one that wakes you up in the middle of the night, that comes with nausea, that gets worse when you bend your head down, or that happens along with vision problems. Why does this happen? It could be anything from uncontrolled high blood pressure, spinal issues, to more serious situations like brain tumors or vascular problems. The brain is inside a closed box, the skull, so any change in pressure or inflammation will cause pain. Have you ever caught yourself thinking, my headache is different, but ignored it because you were too busy to go to the doctor? This negligence can cost you dearly. Sign number 4. Unexplained weight loss or gain. What I'm about to say will make you think of someone you know. You know that person who was always thin and then suddenly gained a lot of weight without changing their diet? Or the one who always struggled with the scale and suddenly started losing weight without dieting or exercising? If you've lost or gained more than 10 pounds in a month without doing anything different in your routine, your body is sending a red alert sign. And no, it's not luck or bad luck, it's your organism saying that something is very wrong. Unexplained weight loss or gain can indicate uncontrolled diabetes, hypothyroidism, or even some types of cancer that make the body consume a lot of energy. On the other hand, sudden weight gain can be due to an underactive thyroid, hormonal problems, or fluid retention from heart or kidney issues. Why does it happen? Your metabolism is like the thermostat of a house. When it's working well, it keeps everything balanced. When something interferes with this system, the body stops processing energy and nutrients correctly. Have you ever heard someone say, "Wow, how did so-and-so lose so much weight?" Or "She gained weight overnight"? If that person was you, don't ignore it. I bet you've been through this or know someone who has, but wait, because the next sign will shock you even more, because it's something that everyone feels, but most people think is normal. Sign number 5, sleep changes that have become routine. That moment when you realize your sleep isn't what it used to be. Were you once someone who slept like a log, but now you keep waking up in the middle of the night? Or you always had light sleep, but now you can't even sleep properly? I'm talking about significant changes, starting to snore when you never did before, waking up several times during the night to pee, insomnia that appeared out of nowhere, or the opposite, sleeping too much and still waking up tired. Sound familiar? Sleep is when our body does its internal maintenance, like a mall's cleaning schedule. When this process is being interrupted or isn't working right, it's a sign that something is consuming extra energy from your system. Why does it happen? Heart problems can cause shortness of breath during sleep. Uncontrolled diabetes makes you wake up several times to urinate. Anxiety and depression completely alter sleep cycles. Thyroid problems can cause both insomnia and excessive sleep. If you're thinking, "Oh wow, that's so me," you're not alone. Everyone pretends that sleep changes are a normal part of aging, but the truth is that quality sleep should be maintained at any age when health is good. Darurun, sign number 6. Digestive problems you've normalized. You know when you realize your stomach has become a monster, but everyone says it's normal? If you're one of those people who can no longer eat certain things without feeling sick, who always has gas, constant constipation, or frequent diarrhea, your gut is calling for help. What I'm about to tell you is something that 70% of people experience but normalize. You shouldn't feel pain, extreme bloating, or discomfort every time you eat. Your digestive system should work quietly and efficiently. That strange feeling you get after meals but can't explain, heartburn, heaviness in the stomach, nausea, is not just part of getting older or just stress. It's your body saying it's not able to process food properly. Why does it happen? It could be anything from gastritis, ulcers, food intolerance, to more serious problems like inflammatory bowel disease, irritable bowel syndrome, or even some types of digestive system cancer. The gut is considered our second brain because it produces 90% of the body's serotonin. When it's not well, it affects mood, energy, the immune system, everything. Have you ever caught yourself avoiding certain foods because they don't sit well, or planning your day around your bowel movements? If this has happened to you, leave a comment about how you're dealing with this situation. Sign number 7. Shortness of breath in simple situations. Have you ever climbed a flight of stairs and were left as winded as if you'd run a marathon? You know that feeling like you're not getting enough air, even when doing activities that were always easy for you? If you're one of those people who now avoid stairs, who feels shortness of breath just from walking a bit faster, or who wakes up during the night feeling like you're suffocating, your body is sending an alert that could be very serious. The shortness of breath I'm talking about isn't the kind from when you're truly doing intense physical exertion. It's the kind that appears in everyday situations. Climbing stairs you've always climbed, cleaning the house, or even talking for a long time without stopping. Why does it happen? It can indicate heart problems. When it can't pump blood efficiently, tissues don't receive enough oxygen. It could also be asthma that developed in adulthood, lung problems, severe anemia, or even chronic anxiety. Does it sound familiar when you hear someone say, "Wow, I don't have the wind I used to"? Most people attribute it to age, but the truth is that respiratory capacity should remain stable in healthy adults. That phrase you've probably heard, "I'm getting old. I can't do that anymore without getting tired." Be careful. That's already a strong indication that there might be something more than normal aging. And if you thought that one was strong, just wait for the next sign, because this one can go completely unnoticed, but is one of the most important. Sign number 8. Changes in urinary frequency and color. Now pay attention, because this next one could save your life, and it's something most people don't even notice. Have you ever really paid attention to your urine? I know it sounds disgusting, but urine is like a daily blood test your body does for free. If you're peeing very frequently, especially waking up multiple times during the night, or if the color is very different from the normal light yellow, very dark, foamy, with a strong smell, your body is sending important signs about how your kidneys and other organs are functioning. Foamy urine can indicate protein being eliminated by the kidneys. Very dark color can be severe dehydration or liver problems. Very light color, along with a large amount, can be diabetes. A very strong, unusual smell can indicate infection or metabolic problems. Why does it happen? The kidneys are our body's filters. They clean the blood and eliminate toxins through urine. When there are changes in color, smell, or frequency, it's a sign that this cleaning system isn't working properly. Everyone pretends not to notice these changes, but the truth is, we should pay attention every day. It's one of the earliest signs of various serious problems like diabetes, kidney problems, urinary tract infections, and even some types of cancer. Have you ever caught yourself thinking, wow, I've been peeing a lot lately, but forgot to investigate? This neglect of such obvious signs is one of the reasons why many illnesses are discovered too late. Sign number 9. Pain or discomfort that migrates through the body. What I'm about to say will make you think of someone who always complains about pain somewhere. Have you ever had that feeling that the pain is traveling through your body? Today your shoulder hurts, tomorrow it's your knee, then your stomach, then it's a headache. If you're one of those people who always has some pain but can never explain exactly where or why, and this pain seems to change location as if it had a life of its own, your body may be fighting a chronic inflammation or a systemic problem. Pain that travels through the body is not normal. Your system should not be constantly sending discomfort signals in different places without a clear cause. This usually indicates there is an internal problem affecting the entire system. Why does it happen? It could be autoimmune diseases like lupus or rheumatoid arthritis, where the immune system itself attacks healthy tissues. It could be fibromyalgia, undiagnosed chronic infections, or even severe nutritional deficiencies that affect muscles and joints. You know that phrase you've heard before, she's always complaining about pain, there's always something. Instead of judging, we should understand that when someone has constant pain in different places, it can be a symptom of something serious that needs to be investigated. Have you ever caught yourself always complaining about some pain, but thinking it's just you being dramatic? Or do you know someone like that? Does this situation sound familiar? Sign number 10. Mood and memory changes that are not normal. The last sign is also the most ignored because everyone thinks it's just stress or all in your head. Have you ever caught yourself forgetting important things, getting irritated for no reason, or feeling like your brain isn't working like it used to? If you've always been a calm person and now you're always irritable, or if you've always had a good memory and now you forget appointments, names, where you put things, or feel slow to understand things, this is not normal and may indicate serious health problems. A sudden change in personality or cognitive ability can be a sign of thyroid problems, deficiencies in essential vitamins like B12, the onset of diabetes, circulatory problems affecting the brain, undiagnosed depression, or even the beginning of neurodegenerative diseases. Why does it happen? The brain needs a lot of oxygen, balanced glucose, and various nutrients to function well. Any imbalance in the body can affect brain function. Furthermore, when the body is fighting an illness, the energy available for cognitive functions decreases. That feeling you've had of, I'm not the same as before, or my head isn't right, should not be ignored as if it were just aging or stress. Everyone pretends that mood and memory changes are normal, but the truth is that our cognitive ability and emotional stability should remain consistent when our health is good. If you recognized at least 4 of these signs, it's not a coincidence. Your body has been trying to communicate with you for a while, but you may be misinterpreting the messages. Now that you've identified the signs, the burning question is, now what do I do? It's no use knowing there's a problem if you don't know how to solve it, right? That's why I'm going to give you 5 practical actions you can start doing today to save your health. Action 1. Get a complete checkup immediately. What to do? Schedule an appointment with a general practitioner and ask for a complete checkup with blood tests, urine tests, and the main preventive exams for your age. How to do it? Don't wait for it to get better or go away. Call a lab or hospital today and schedule it. If you have health insurance, use it. If you don't have one, look for public health centers in your city or low-cost clinics. Why it works? Most serious health problems can be detected early through simple tests. The sooner you find out, the better the chances of effective treatment, and the lower the financial and emotional cost. Many people put it off because they are afraid of what they might discover, but the truth is that not knowing is much worse than knowing and being able to treat it. Action 2. Start a symptom journal today. What to do? Write down all the symptoms you feel when they happen, their intensity, what you were doing, what you ate, how you slept. How to do it? Use your phone's notepad or a simple notebook. Every day, before going to sleep, write down how you felt. Rate your pain, energy, mood, and sleep on a scale of 1 to 10. When to do it? Start today and keep it up for at least 2 weeks before going to the doctor. This will help a lot with the diagnosis. Why it works? Our body has patterns, and often sickness manifests itself at specific times related to food, activities, or situations. A journal helps identify these patterns that go unnoticed in daily life. Furthermore, when you go to the doctor with detailed information, the diagnosis becomes much more accurate and faster. Action 3. Eliminate the main villains from your diet. What to do? Cut at least 80% of refined sugar, ultra-processed foods, soda, and alcoholic beverages from your diet for 30 days. How to do it? Read the labels of everything you buy. If it has more than 5 ingredients or ingredients you can't pronounce, don't buy it. Prefer fresh foods, fruits, vegetables, meats, eggs, nuts. For whom? Especially important if you have identified digestive problems, weight loss or gain, skin changes, mood and memory changes, or sleep changes. Expected result? In 2 weeks, you will already notice a difference in your energy, sleep quality, and bowel function. In 30 days, many symptoms may disappear completely. Industrialized food overloads all the organs in the body. When you stop consuming these poisons, you give your system a break to recover and show what are really signs of sickness versus what was just chronic food intoxication. Action 4. Establish a restorative sleep routine. What to do? Sleep and wake up at the same time every day. Create a dark and quiet environment for sleeping. Turn off electronics 1 hour before bed. How to do it? Choose a bedtime that allows for 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Use blackout curtains or an eye mask. Earplugs if necessary. Keep your phone away from the bed. Why it works? Sleep is when your body does all its cellular repair, produces important hormones, consolidates memory, and eliminates toxins from the brain. Poor sleep worsens any health problem you have. Many symptoms that seem like serious illnesses are actually a consequence of chronic deprivation of quality sleep. After 2 weeks of sleeping well, you may be surprised how many symptoms disappear. Action 5. Create an active stress reduction plan. What to do? Identify the main sources of stress in your life and create specific strategies for each one. Include at least 20 minutes daily of a relaxing activity. How to do it? List everything that stresses you out: work, relationships, finances, health. For each item, write down at least one action you can take to improve the situation. Choose a relaxing activity you enjoy: walking, music, reading, meditation, talking with a friend. When to do it? The plan should be made today, and the relaxing activities should start this week. Set a fixed time of day for it, as if it were a medical appointment. Why it works? Chronic stress is one of the biggest causes of sickness in the modern world. It affects the immune system, digestion, sleep, blood pressure, blood sugar, everything. Reducing stress is not a luxury, it is a medical necessity. Emergency action. If the situation is critical. If you recognized 7 or more signs, especially if they include shortness of breath, chest pain, unexplained weight loss, or sudden personality changes, go to the emergency room immediately. Don't wait for a scheduled appointment. Don't put it off until tomorrow. Some signs can indicate situations that need urgent care. Remember, it's better to feel a little embarrassed by going to the doctor and finding out it was nothing serious, than to wait and find out too late that it was indeed something serious. Your body is wise and always warns you when something is wrong. The problem is that we've learned to ignore these warnings. Now you have the knowledge and the tools to change that. The difference between people who have long and healthy lives and those who live sick isn't just about luck or genetics. It's about the ability to listen to your own body and act quickly when it asks for help. You noticed how all these signs are things we're always talking about in our daily lives. Wow, I'm always tired. My stomach isn't right. I don't sleep well. I always have some pain. These phrases that seem like normal complaints are, in fact, your body's calls for help. The big issue is that we live in a culture that has normalized feeling unwell. We think that feeling pain, fatigue, digestive problems, mood changes is just part of adult life, or normal for your age, but it's not. When you were a child, you woke up with energy, played all day, ate everything, slept like a log, and woke up refreshed. That should be the standard at any age when health is good. Of course, some aspects change over time, but the overall feeling of well-being should remain. What happens is that we keep accumulating small problems, ignoring signs, normalizing symptoms, until one day we wake up sick, out of the blue. But it wasn't out of the blue. It was years of warnings that we chose to ignore. Now you have a choice. Continue ignoring these signs as you have done until today, or start acting like someone who values their own life and health. Think of it this way. If your car started making a strange noise, would you ignore it until it broke down on the side of the road? Or would you go to the mechanic to have it checked? Why do we act differently with our body, which is much more complex and important than any car? The most interesting thing is that when you start paying attention to your body's signs and act quickly, it responds very well. The human body has an incredible ability to heal and regenerate when it receives proper care. I've seen people who thought they were old and sick completely transform in just a few months simply because they stopped ignoring what their body was saying and started taking the right actions. And it doesn't have to be anything miraculous or expensive. Most of the time they are simple changes: sleeping better, eating real food, moving more, reducing stress, getting regular checkups. Basic things that our body needs to function well. The problem is that we live in a society that wants to fix everything with medicine, but forgets the basics. It's not that medicine is bad. On the contrary, when necessary, it can save lives. But before needing medicine, how about giving your body what it needs to function well naturally? Think about how many people you know who are always complaining about their health, taking various medications, going from doctor to doctor, but never stop to do the basics: sleep properly, eat well, exercise, manage stress. It's like wanting a plant to grow strong without giving it adequate water, sun, and fertilizer, but loading it with chemicals when it starts to wilt. It doesn't make sense, right? Your body needs the basic conditions to function well first. When you provide that and there are still problems, then investigating with doctors and tests makes total sense. But many people skip this stage of basic care and want to go straight to the magic solution. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. The good news is that it's never too late to start. No matter how long you've been ignoring the signs from your body, it has an impressive ability to respond positively when you change your attitude. I've seen people in their 60s and 70s feeling better than they did in their 40s, just because they decided to stop normalizing feeling sick and started taking real care of their health. And the opposite is also true. Young people in their 20s and 30s feeling as if they were elderly because they are completely ignoring the signs their body is sending. Chronological age is just a number. What really matters is the biological age of your body, and that you have control over through the choices you make every day. Every time you choose to ignore a symptom, you are choosing to age your body faster. Every time you pay attention and take action to resolve it, you are choosing to keep your body young and healthy for longer. It's a big responsibility, but it's also an immense power that you hold in your hands. Now, one important thing. Don't become a hypochondriac. There's a difference between being attentive to your body's signs and becoming paranoid about every sensation. The goal is to develop a healthy and conscious relationship with your body, not a sick obsession. The rule is simple. If something is different from your normal pattern for more than a week, it's worth investigating. If it's something new and intense, it's worth investigating right away. If it's something that comes and goes and has been doing so for a while, it's worth writing down to understand the pattern. Trust your intuition. You know your body better than anyone else. When something isn't right, you know. The problem is that we were taught to distrust that intuition and only value it when a doctor confirms it. Of course, the doctor is important and necessary, but your perception of your own body is also valid and should be taken seriously. Often, patients come to the office saying, "Doctor, I know something is wrong, but I don't know what it is." And often that intuition is correct, even when the first tests don't show anything. This doesn't mean you should self-diagnose or self-medicate. It means you should trust what you feel and persist until you find answers, even if that means seeking a second or third medical opinion. Another important thing, prevention is always cheaper, easier, and more effective than treatment. Investing in your health today is the best investment you can make in your future quality of life. Think of it this way. Every dollar you spend today taking care of your health can save hundreds or thousands of dollars in future treatments. Every hour you dedicate today to sleeping better, eating well, and exercising can mean years of additional healthy life in the future. It's an investment with a guaranteed return, but one that most people only realize the value of when it's too late. End. Now you have no more excuses. You know the signs and you know exactly what to do. Starting today, your life can be completely different if you put these actions into practice. And if this video gave you the tools you needed, leave a like, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell, because we have many other valuable tips for you. In the comments, tell me, how many of these signs did you recognize in yourself? And which of these actions will you start doing first? If you've already been through a similar situation, share your experience with us to help other people.